First, how important was it for the public to get access, for journalists to get access to this list of loans? Much was made about the fact that Steven Mnuchin said this was proprietary information, even though, of course, those loans were being backed by taxpayer dollars.
Well, I mean, I think transparency in general is a nice and important principle. It's important to understand the context here. We only got the loan information for companies who received loans of $150,000 or more. And I should, as full disclosure, say that the Prospect was one of them. We got a loan of about $170,000 to make sure we didn't have to lay anybody off. That only took into account about 600,000 of the 5 million people, 5 million businesses who received loans. So there are about 4.2 million loans that were under $150,000 in value that we know nothing about. And it kind of distorts a little bit this record because the 660,000 we do know about are the biggest loans. And so they involve the biggest companies that have the most employees on staff. All of them have under 500 employees because that was the cutoff for being called a small business. But so we're distorting the lens a little bit here. We don't have any information on the millions of really tiny micro businesses that did get some form of relief through this program. And because we don't know about them, we can't really administer the program very well because we just don't have that baseline information.
Now, the American Prospect could be considered a small business, but there are some very large businesses that got very large loans. Many of these businesses have investors that have the ability to pour money into their businesses to save those jobs that these companies appear concerned about. Do you think that the legislation was written with far too many loopholes?
I think the legislation was written with a problematic delivery mechanism. So instead of sending these loans through payroll companies or having the government actually take them in and process them and send out the payments, they were run through these private banks. And because they were considered loans, and the way that the Small Business Administration works is that it guarantees loans that are made by private banks, they did the same thing in this case. And banks then used the program to favor clients that, A, they had an existing relationship with, so they wouldn't have to do any further